This is Andy Purewell for Boxing News, joined by British heavyweight champion Fabio Wardley.
British and Commonwealth.
British and Commonwealth, apologies.
WBA Continental.
All right, do you want to just list them off for me?
I forgot the other one. WO International. There you go.
All right, there we go. And as just reminded behind me, undefeated still.
Undefeated.
Mr. Fabio Wardley. Fabio, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm doing all right. How are you? How's things?
I'm good. I'm busy. Been trying to tie in for a Zoom and we weren't quite able to get it done.
Yeah, honestly, mate, don't take it personally. I'm just not doing any, really. I've just been doubling down on training. I've just been so busy with training and stuff. I've just thought, I'm going to see you all this week anyway. Then I'm going to see you all next week. And you're all going to ask me the same questions. So we might as well wait till then.
Mate, what more do you want?
That's what I mean.
Fabio, we are here for London launch press conference once again for this fight. Does you feel any different going in for a rematch compared to what the first fight felt like?
No, not really. No, it doesn't. Doesn't feel any different. Doesn't feel any different. You know the opponent. I think for this one, it's just I think there's a lot less that needs to be done almost in terms of us having a back and forth and saying this and that about the other. We spent the whole build-up last time saying everything like we needed to say, and then the fight itself did all the talking. So for the most part, I don't think there's much we need to start going on about. Don't get me wrong, it's me, so there's going to be a few little jabs and jokes, but aside from that, nah, not really. Crack on, enjoy the moment.
You kind of hit me nail on the head there, because as well of how entertaining of a fight it was. You both gave it your all on the night. That level of respect, I imagine, has gone up tenfold prior to the fight. So do you feel like you don't really need to because you both know what to expect now?
Yeah, look, and the last one I was calling him soft. He didn't have heart and this and that and the other. And look, he's proved it. So I can't come back with those things again. I'm not going to. It's not the same thing. It's not the same fight. So in this one, it will just be, there'll be a good base level of respect, and still the same comment of you're getting sparked out. Look, I got you pretty much there last time. You got saved by the bell a bit. He got up, but next time I'll make sure I do it earlier.
On that note, do you anticipate it being not necessarily a firefight, but a more aggressive fight, even more aggressive than what we saw first time around? Or do you think you might need to be a bit more kind of cute with your boxing ability?
No, cuteness. No cuteness for me. Pure war, gloves up, walk forward, throw bombs. It worked the first time, it's going to work even better the second time. The only difference was execution. In the moments where I had him hurt and things like that, I didn't follow up properly. So I've practiced that and I will, but there's not going to be little cutesy looks or I'm feeling the water's out. I've gone 12 rounds of him. I know he can't hurt me. I know how he punches. I know how he throws, how he puts his combinations together. I'm comfortable with it all. It doesn't bother me. So it's gloves up, walk forward, throw bombs, get him out of there.
I know obviously in the build-up to the first fight, and you might have been a bit tongue-in-cheek, but you was mentioning, him supposedly being the favourite because of his background, what he's achieved in amateurs, the backing he's had in the pro career, as opposed to yourself. You've gone about in a very different direction and route. Do you expect him to have? Did he disappoint? Did he deliver more than what you expected? How do you reflect on his performance?
That is the best Frazer Clarke you've ever seen in a ring.
You don't think we'd get better in a rematch?
I don't think you'd get better, no. I don't think you'd get better. And I think that is probably the worst you've seen me in a ring. I 6 out of 10 maybe I'd rate my performance. So a 6 out of 10 versus a 11 out of 10 Frazer pulled off a draw, which I still think I won. Add a few notches, tweak a few things, and he's gone.
This rematch taking place out in Saudi Arabia, obviously we've seen a lot of fighters trying to get onto these Riyadh season cards. You're one of them now in this rematch. There was talk of Portman Road, there was talk of O2 on a separate pay-per-view. Why Riyadh season? Why taking it this direction?
Riyadh season's the place. It's the place for the big shows and the big events. And honestly, UK fights right now, there's not a bigger one than me and Frazer. we are the biggest UK fight around at the moment. Everyone wants to see it. I know everyone wants it to be in the UK. I'm sorry, I apologise. But when massive opportunities arise, we have to take them. This Bivol Beterbiev is one of the biggest fights in world boxing, and to be a part of that and on that card is an opportunity not to be missed.
Is Portman Road still a dream for
Still there.
yourself?
Still there, still on the cards. I spoke to Mark, the director, yesterday. Was mainly just talking boxing with him, but again, hinting at doing it at Portman Road at some day. So that's always on the cards. It's always going to be there. It's just, it's hard because it's a strong timing thing. You need the right fight, you need the right opponent, you need the right time as well because of the pitch and things like that. So there's a lot of variables, but it'll always be there.
If that's a difficult one, though, you mentioned you need the right opponent. Many people would have thought the rematch, Frazer's kind of a perfect dance partner. Mm-hmm. When you look at the scene, who else do you think could be that potential perfect dance partner? Or does it depend on how far in your career you go, what titles might be on the line?
Daniel for the world title. British level, I think, to be honest, he's the only one left. That's it. The only one maybe, and I don't, again, this is not a call out. I just think because it's entertaining, he's a great entertaining fighter, would be Derek as well. Entertaining fighter, always brings a good crowd. People always love to see him regardless. Just again, Derek, don't call me. I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying it would be a good fight for Portman Road. That is all.
Right, so YouTube title, Fabio Wardley calls out Derek Chisora.
Literally, if you say that, honestly, I'll...
It's all right, I won't see you for the next few weeks anyway. But yeah, moving forwards, signing with Frank Warren. Talk to me about that move. You've worked with Eddie Hearn, now you're with Frank Warren.
Worked with Eddie Hearn, worked with Ben Shalom, worked with Frank. And look, played around with them all, had a chat with everyone, sat down with everyone, had a look at the landscape of what they have in terms of boxes, what their plans are, spoke to them about their broadcasters. I went through all the details with them, and I landed on Frank because at the moment he's running the game, cream of the crop. He's got everything in his hands. Obviously Saudi, he's running that, and with his stable of heavyweights as well. Any fight really I want to make is there to happen. It's not. There's no fun. There's no fussing. There's no umming and ahhing or maybes and maybe's not. Says all right, cool. If you want it, put it together.
It's an interesting point you make there. The general consensus is that Frank has more of a kind of a dominant hand in the heavyweight division currently. One name I'm going to throw at you. I don't imagine it being on the radar. Mr. Moses Itauma, obviously your campmates, but there's a lot of hype around him. Is that a fight you think we might see at some point down the line?
Right now, no. There's no way it would work. We have the same coach. I don't know what Ben's going to do. What I get the even rounds and Moses gets the odd rounds, and he bounces back and forth. I don't know. And maybe and Moses is still young and in a building phase. He just absolutely starched Marius whack, but he's in some form of a building stage, whereas I'm fringe world level. So no, right now, no, not at all.
Where do you see the career of Moses Itauma going? Now you've spent some time in camp with him. He's been very complimentary of yourself in my past interviews. So where do you see Moses' career being guided to?
I think he's going to the moon. I think he's going all the way. I think he's going to the top, especially now he's with Ben. Sorry, between his. I don't want to say raw ability because I always feel like that's some form of an insult, but with his ability, skill set, plus Ben's knowledge, know-how, analysis, put those two together, I think he's an absolute force.
Away from him, another heavyweight campmate of yours, Anthony Joshua, fell short this past week against Daniel Dubois. Quite a dominant performance from Daniel. What did you make of it?
Yeah, you're right. A relatively dominant performance from Daniel. Came out strong, firing, seemingly had zero fear and just thought, I'm going to stomp forward and throw some hands. And they landed as well. And we both knew that they were massive punches. If either lands, it was always going to hurt the other. We always knew how it was going to go. But, yeah, it was a hard one. Obviously, with Ben being my trainer and AJ being obviously in the camp and being around him, watching him prep and stuff and seeing all of that, I just thought it was a bit of a hard one to see because you never like to see a stablemate lose or anything like that at all. Especially when I know how hard he's worked, how much he's put in the gym, how much time he's had in, and the game plan and everything they put together. So it's never ideal, but you never write him off. And he put something out the other day saying, "Look, I'm not done. I'm going again." So good. I'm buzzing for that because it's always fantastic to see him in the ring, and he always brings out thousands and thousands of people. So I'm not the only one that wants to see him.
As somebody who would have been relatively close to him during camp in terms of just being able to watch him, being around him, what went wrong for him on the night? What happened? Was it simply he just got caught in that first round and just couldn't recover?
Yeah, look, he got caught with a big shot, which, mate, massive credit for him to getting up. And obviously it scrambles you a bit, throws you off, and you just go into a bit of defensive mode, which is sometimes not ideal because then your opponent starts hunting you down and chasing you, and they gain more and more confidence. They start throwing more and more punches, and you just find yourself under more and more pressure, and you can't get anything away. And I think it just started a downhill slope, unfortunately.
As is always the way, there's no denying Ben's obviously a very talented, very highly thought of coach within the game, but after a defeat, people like to be critical. What do you make of those who've been critical towards Ben?
They can all fuck off. All of them. They're all fucking idiots. It don't make any sense. Ben's done a tremendous amount of work with a bunch of fighters, and one loss does not define anything whatsoever. It doesn't suddenly make him a bad trainer, a bad coach, or anything at all. It just didn't work out on the night. There's not a trainer in the UK that hasn't lost a fight. So what is there to say, really? And the thing is, funnily enough, I had this conversation with Ben in the gym the other day. There's because he's been on such a high trajectory for so long. He's been doing so well. What he done with Lee Wood and how he revived AJ and how he's brought him back, and all the other boys in the gym like Aloy's getting him to win 2 titles, and he's got obviously Royston and just all the guys in the gym. Yeah, he's got all them guys. They're all doing fantastic things. And that's under Ben's tutelage. And then one loss, and everyone's like, "Oh, see, he's not good, this, that, the other." Shut the fuck up, man. Like, people, it's fickle. It's fickle. Everyone talks a lot of bollocks.
With AJ, do you think he takes the rematch next? Do you know him, I imagine, a bit better now?
Rematch, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't think, and the reason I would say that is because I would think if I'm Daniel, I'm going to aim for whoever wins at the end of the year. I wouldn't be interested in the AJ fight. I think, well, I'm going to go for the titles.
What do you think happens in Usyk Fury 2?
I think Usyk wins again. Yeah, I think Usyk wins again. What he does beyond that, who knows? Whether he keeps the belts, drops the belts, goes back down to cruiserweight, who knows?
Well, Fabio, can I get a message to Mr. Frazer Clarke before we wrap this up?
Mr. Frazer Clarke, hope you're well, mate. Post-fight, I hope you had a nice little break. Hope you had some time off. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you've had a really nice camp. Hope things have gone perfectly. Please, this time, don't have a fucking picture of me on the wall on the punching bag that you were punching, because that was stupid. Don't do that. It makes you look like a knob. Just hit the bag without needing to see my face every day. But overall, I hope you're well, mate, and have a good camp.
Fabio, thank you. Good luck with the rest of the camp.
Cheers, mate.